Welcome back to America Right Now. The 2022 primaries continue to roll on, and Republicans are looking for wins this year, even in some pretty deep blue states. I'll actually be up in Rochester, New York, Monday and Tuesday, reporting from there in advance of the New York Republican gubernatorial debate, which will be hosted by Newsmax on Tuesday at 8 p.m., and it'll be moderated by Eric Bolling. Now, this week in our Race to November segment, the man who would be the nation's youngest member of Congress, if he makes it through his primary and gets elected in November, a former writer for the Washington Free Beacon, he moved from journalism to politics this year to take on Democrat Congressman David Trone. Matthew Foldi joins us now. Matthew, thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon from a new Republican district here in Western Maryland. Thanks so much for having me on.
So this week, a report from CQ Roll Call showed your opponent is among the candidates in the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee's Frontline Incumbent Protection Program. That means he's vulnerable. Why is he vulnerable, Matthew?
Look, this is now a new Republican district here in Western Maryland, and David Trone is a completely absentee member of Congress. In addition to this now being redistricted to favoring Republicans, David Trone does not show up for work, which is one of the things I covered as a reporter at the Washington Free Beacon, was how Democrats across the country continue to use COVID to lock us out of the government that we pay for. And as a result of the tens of thousands of voter contacts that my volunteers have made all across the district, as a result of the endorsements from national and local Republicans, we've forced this race on the radar. As you showed before the break, we are now up on TV through the primary in just 5 weeks, and our work has put a new district on the map. We've expanded the House race due to the work of our team Foldi.
Redistricting certainly helped create a district that is now primed to be flipped. You're out there, you're running a strong grassroots campaign. What's the biggest issue that voters talk to you about when you're out there campaigning?
Well, it's inflation, followed by community security, gas prices, and grocery stores being empty and more expensive. So the Democrats are ruining our economy, and then they're hiding from accountability by locking us out of our government. And the policies that they've inflicted on us are why we're going to flip the House in November.
Now, Matthew, you were a GOP ward committeeman in Chicago, of all places, the youngest there at age 19. How long have you lived in the Maryland district you seek to represent, and what qualifies you to be the representative of the district over, let's say, your chief opponent, who is currently serving in the Maryland state legislature?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is where I'm from, in Maryland and Montgomery County, and the election basically is about experience. And David Trone has failed to deliver in his 4 years of Congress. His offices have been closed for more than half of the time that he's been a member of Congress. And my reporting has led to multiple congressional investigations. The way I think about this is, as a conservative reporter, I pointed out a lot of problems: corruption in the Energy Department, Chinese interference in the Commerce Department, all of House Democrats not working. And now I'm running for Congress to actually solve these problems. So when we flip the House on day one, it's important for us to have a member of Congress representing Western Maryland who actually is able to get results for people and expose corruption in the administration. That's what I've been doing since the day Biden took office.
All right, now, Matthew, I have to ask you this question. You know, we've had some young phenomenons in Congress recently. AOC was the youngest member when she was elected, and she's proven to be a publicity hound and kind of a cocktail party joke. Madison Cawthorn on the GOP side was the youngest, and he had, let's say, a less than distinguished tenure there. How are you going to buck that trend? And what's going to set you apart if people are skeptical about electing somebody your age to the United States House of Representatives?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, look, as someone who was the youngest elected official in Chicago at age 19, I feel, up in the years as a 25-year-old congressional candidate now. And to me, it's not as much about age, right? Biden is a disaster as a president, not because he's 79. AOC is a disaster as a representative, not because she is 31 or whatever. It's about policies, and it's about delivering results for the people who you're elected to represent. David Trone, as a 66-year-old congressman, has done absolutely nothing for Western Maryland. And so when I take office as a 26-year-old member of Congress, I'm going to set to work immediately, opening all of the constituent offices that he's had closed for 2.5 years due to COVID, while he runs his multi-billion-dollar business that's open 7 days a week. So, to me, it's more about experience than age. And Trone has zero experience of actually delivering results for the people in this district.
All right, congressional hopeful Matthew Foldi running for Maryland's 6th district. The primary in the state of Maryland is on July 19th, and we'll be watching.
Thanks so much for having me.